What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Love and Rice with your host, Aunt Ma. And
Christina
host,
Ma.
Thank you for being here. And we got our special guest, Kasey Ma, and also Vince Shu from the TV show, The One That Got Away on Amazon Prime Video. Thank you guys for coming back. I love doing episodes with you guys.
Always
Thank you for having me.
Yes,
sorry.
You guys have a really great dynamic. I love it.
It's pretty funny.
I don't see anyone else on, well, I don't follow anybody else from the show, but it seems like no one else really hangs out but you guys.
Yeah, they all suck. No, I'm just
What?
kidding.
No, we love them.
I'm joking. I'm very sarcastic. But yeah, I think the best thing that came out of the show is like us becoming best friends for sure.
That's awesome. You guys would never date?
We're very not compatible.
So now you're brother and sister.
We're like, we fight way too much.
Definitely.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just not.
And then in like 5 years, it's going to change and then you guys can get married.
No, I mean,
I don't see that happening. No offense.
we've had a lot of conversations about it. I mean, people always
Wow.
like assume that
Yeah.
like,
Yes,
oh,
they
you guys
assume
are
we're
dating.
dating.
So
Yeah.
it's like the conversation gets brought up a lot. But like, yeah, even like from the get go, like after the show when she moved to LA and we were talking, like we got to know each other and like we saw the vibes and the chemistry and we were just like, no, like. I think there's a saying out there that's like, if you really like somebody or you really vibe with someone, it's better to be friends than to actually date, right? Because like people that you date, like, you know, they kind of almost come in and out of your life.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
True.
for us, like we genuinely loved like our connection, spending time with each other, but there was just like no romantic spark, and that's okay, right? It's like, and I think that like even for both of us, this is our first really like close
You guys,
friendship from the other sex, I guess.
yeah, you guys are
Yeah.
almost like best friends.
Yeah.
And this is when best friends fall in love. I don't know. I'm just kidding. All right. So in today's episode, guys. So in today's episode, we're going to be talking about how our sex life has been in our 30s. Because we got two people who have been dating in their 30s and two people who have been married in their 30s. And I'm pretty sure they're both very, very different. Or is it the same because we're all in our 30s? So, you know, you guys have been on the show less than a year ago. And I'm sure your life has changed and you've seen a lot of people since then. I'm sure a lot of girls and guys DM you and stuff. And, you know, how's your sex life now?
Oh my God. I was waiting to see where this was going to go.
I was like, is this some
Like,
foreplay or are we just going straight in?
Straight in.
As it transpired.
So when was the last time you had sex?
Not answer that question for sure.
Like, is it as active as it is when you were in your 20s? Or is it, so like, for example, in your 20s, we all just do it like rabbits, right? So like when you meet a new girl or new guy, you guys have sex, and especially for the first time, maybe you're going to do it like 2 or 3 times in the same night, right?
Oh,
And so in your 30s, I don't think that really happens.
Or does it?
It's just, oh, okay.
Well, I mean, both of us were in super long-term relationships, right? So
Yeah.
like, we didn't really get that like F boy, F girl phase in our 20s to like go.
Right.
I never did
crazy.
either, but every time you had your first relationship, you did have that phase.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, the rabbit phase.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
rabbit phase.
The
Yeah.
bunny hopping
The
phase.
honeymoon
All day,
phase.
all night.
Sure.
In the shower, in the car.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean,
what?
let's just say I feel like we're experiencing our 20s and our 30s, but with a more mature,
Gotcha.
level-minded headset.
I see.
Yeah.
So you're not
this makes
hoeing
sense.
around.
So this is why we got married young. It's because when we're in our early 20s, we did way too many drugs. We had a lot of sex. We did a lot of drinking, a lot of partying, a lot of bad stuff, to the point where we're like, okay, we're over it. And we got married. And these guys are just starting that
We're just
life.
starting all
That's
that
what I'm
now.
saying. You guys are complete opposites
You're
of
so
us.
responsible. You guys got your
Yeah.
careers done first.
Yes, that's exactly what happened.
Wow.
And then I know people who were like single all in their 20s, and now they're struggling to like get a career or like work
Exactly.
for themselves and
They're
stuff.
too focused on trying to chase girls or whatnot. Like the
Yeah.
priorities weren't right.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I feel like the very mature one out of all my friends, like from high school, for example. And then they look at me and they're like, I think you did it right.
yeah.
I was like, did I though? Because like I wish I experienced my prime in my 20s too.
Of course.
You
yeah.
know? So like when I was in my 20s, I was grinding so much. I didn't really have that many friends. And like now I just have so many, you know? So it's like it's totally opposite.
Yeah.
But I don't think I would do it any other way though, for me. I think what's now is better than maybe if it were reversed. Yeah.
You know what I'm starting to realize is that the difference in the sex between your 20s and 30s is not about the quantity, it's the quality. So the sex in your 30s is much better because it's with, I guess,
More
almost the right
experienced?
people, right?
Yeah.
If you're dating, it's someone who you think is going to be the right person. For us being married, it is with the right person, so it's a totally different ball game.
Yeah, I think I didn't realize how much I was gonna learn. Because like
What do you mean?
when I was in my first 2 relationships, like you figure out like, oh, this is what my girl likes, you know, like you gotta, you know, it's like cracking a code. It's like, oh, you gotta lick the nipple.
Oh, yeah,
here, and
yeah.
you do it like you gotta get the feel, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's like you're cracking a code. Once you get the code down, it's like, all right, I got it, and then you play around with it here and there, and then my second ex, same thing. But then once you start like, you know, actually hooking up with other girls, and then you start like, you know, like realizing, oh no, girls get off differently. Like they like different things. And then you start like, you know, you're opening up the box. I'm like, I remember like I was like dating a girl and she was like, oh my God, like you're so proactive in wanting to learn. Like learn how to like, you know, like pleasure me or learn how to like be better. Cause I'm just like, yeah, like I want to be able to crack the code. Like, you know what I mean? And and I didn't realize that in my 20s. I was just like, oh, you know, probably all girls like that. But like, I'm like doing all these hand motions. But
The Morse code.
So I get it, because you're, as a guy, you're trying to have this feeling of achieving accomplishments, right?
Because he was the same way when we first started going out. And then he used to tell me like, oh yeah, like I used to actually research to see like what techniques work and all this stuff. And that's how he learned everything.
I only did that for you. I never did that for any other girl. So I wanted to pleasure you and like make things really happen.
Yeah.
And I also want to be like, let's see what I can really master or do. So
yo, that's the way. You got to research. Like,
that's good.
I've gone on Pornhub and just like, look, there's this guy, like, I think it's called like Mr. Pussy Eater or something.
Okay.
Like,
Sophisticated.
yeah, and like he just knows what he's doing. I'm just like, I want to learn. Like, I'm out here like, you know, trying to figure out tips and stuff. Like,
I've done
think
the
that's
same.
great.
Like, so, like, you don't know. Sometimes guys watch porn because they, like what Vince is saying, they want to learn something, right? So sometimes it's like you want to learn how to make a girl squirt.
yeah,
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I didn't realize like there's certain motions, right? Like the rhythm and stuff. Like you need to be in tune with it, and it's like a lot of it's like learning by trial and error too, right? Like you're going in, you figure out what they like, and it's like, I don't know, like that's the best part of like sex is like I feel like once you're that push pull of like, oh, like yeah, I like this, I don't, and you're kind of flirting with each other, and I don't know, the way that the sex develops in the relationship too, it's like people don't really see that because it's all behind closed doors, right? But that's such a vital part of like the chemistry that you guys have.
You know, so here's the difference. I think I don't think it's 20s and 30s. It's more like early 20s and late 20s. So my early 20s, I was just trying to fuck every girl and like just really do it for myself, right? I mean, I didn't do every girl.
That is how boys
I'm just
think,
saying.
so, yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I was just like, I just want to go bang, 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 and that's it. But then in your late 20s, you're like, what can I do to master things? Yeah. So like, it's more of a mature thought process.
I think that's actually rare too, because I don't think I've met too many guys who actually try to look into like trying to figure out how to satisfy their women and stuff. Because usually they're just thinking about themselves and they're just like, no foreplay. I just want to get in, get out. I'm done. Like forget about my partner.
Yeah,
So-
very few men ask, and when they ask, I'm like, oh, he cares.
Right?
I was like, okay. I was like, let me keep him around for a little bit longer and see what happens. And I also think like in terms of like the chemistry you were saying, like emotional connection, at least for women, is really important.
Definitely.
Like I cannot get off unless I'm emotionally connected with the dude, like no matter what. So no matter how skilled he is, I'll just be like, all right.
If
While
you're not
you're doing
connected
it.
mentally, you're
Yeah,
just
if
like,
we're not connected mentally, it's just not going to be good.
Wow.
So like actually, as I've gotten older, I'm more selective, like in who would be like my partner.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it could be someone you can connect with, and he has like the smallest wee wee, and you'll still be okay.
Wee wee, who says that?
I know we went from saying squirt to wee wee.
So it will get better after like the second or third time.
Oh,
With the
because you're
small
telling
wee-wee,
him what to do, or you're
It's
adjusting
because
to
it's
it.
mentally like better because
Oh, I
you're
see.
connected with them
Gotcha.
more and you understand who they are and you love more about them.
Yeah.
Then you're making more love rather than it just being like animalistic. Because if he's like suffering in that department, then it's like there's
Suffering.
Suffering.
Wow.
there's nothing to go off of.
Wait, how How small was the smallest guy you guys have?
You got
I've seen a micro penis before.
What's a micro penis? What size is that?
4 inches or less.
Okay.
Wow.
I may have
a bunch of
experienced
guys
that
are
too.
punching air right now. Like, what?
I'm sharing right now. I'm like, thank God.
I've had a partner where I didn't know like if he was in or not.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just don't feel it.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I guess I just have to go along with it, right? Because what are you gonna do? Like,
So you just
sorry.
fake it
You're
the
really
whole
nice.
time?
Huh?
You just fake it the whole time?
Well, I actually saw it and I left.
Oh,
see,
dang.
that's two different reactions.
I
right
know.
There.
Wow.
She was
I
like,
dealt
"Let me
with it. I'm
not
like,
feel,
okay.
make him feel bad." I was like, I have to go.
Wow. Well, I've actually done that too. I've been on the other side where I put it in and then I was like, oh, feels so sloppy. I'm out.
Like it was too wide.
Oh,
It was wide and just sloppy and like
Sloppy. What does that mean?
it was big and I was just like,
Yeah.
yeah, because I
Like it kept queefing. Like it had too
it
much
did,
space.
it did. It kept making noises
So
too,
it's a little
and I was just like,
rundown?
and this was a girl that I dated for a while before getting it in, and then after that incident, I just completely dropped it.
See, that's why like when you say like women should wait like X amount of dates for sex, I think it really just depends on what you feel with that
connection,
person.
yeah.
Because like I've waited maybe like 4 or 5 dates before, and like with this one guy where I was like, oh my god, he might be marriage material, whatever. And then when we had sex, I was like, what?
Yeah,
I was like, I just wasted like a month and a
Yeah.
half of my time.
All right, so you guys have sex first. That's
Well,
what
no,
we
that's
learned.
not what I'm
no,
recommending
it
either.
depends
I'm just
on the
kidding.
connection.
Yeah, based on the connection,
Yes.
like you shouldn't be so harsh on your rules, is what I'm
Right.
saying. Like maybe have it in your mind, like be more selective. But if you have like a genuinely like amazing connection and it's like your second date and it's working out, then like it's okay.
Go
Is
for
this
it.
why people outside of the Asian culture who talk about sex more often and more comfortable about it, like Americans, they talk about these things on their dates before even having sex so they can figure it out?
What do you mean? Like, what do they talk about?
Like, oh, what do you like to do in bed?
I don't think people
I
talk
don't.
about
Yeah,
that.
but I've never talked
no,
about it.
That's what I'm saying. Asians don't talk about it.
Oh.
And then I usually just don't date them.
So they're the ones who initiate it, and
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah.
because I feel like that would turn me off. Because
Yeah.
it's
It
like,
does
oh, so
turn
that's
me
the
off.
only thing that you want to know about.
Because I feel like
you know?
girls are extra alert, because in
we
this
have to be.
generation of dating where hookup culture is so rampant,
Yeah.
like you're looking for like, oh, is this guy just an F boy, right? And like every little thing that they say like can be misinterpreted that way, you're gonna be like, no, this.
Oh
guy's
my
not
gosh,
cool.
girls misinterpret things so far off the spectrum. It's wild.
I mean, these are pretty direct. Like if you see my dating app messages, it's just,
Oh,
do you
man.
want to have sex?
Yeah.
Basically. In the message.
Well, also
You know-
your dating app before was just straight titties. Like
No,
her,
it wasn't.
back in the day, yeah. Before like we like you were like,
it was
oh,
just
Vince, how
basically
can
my
I fix it?
Instagram, but like without the lingerie.
She showed a lot of titties, and I,
I
was
think
like,
that's just
this is
because
why
I
you're
have
dating.
them, Vince, and I'm wearing
But
lower
yeah.
cut
if you have
shirts.
them, show them. You know.
Yeah.
But it's like if you're looking
But
for
I
like
get what
a,
you're
if
saying,
you're looking
though.
for a husband,
Yeah.
right? Like you're
Yeah.
looking for long term, you gotta like have certain type of photos.
I wasn't
that are
like
more like
purposely being like, oh, these are my titties, let's show them. It was just inadvertently like, these photos are already on my Instagram and they're beautiful and I took a lot
Well,
of
I'm
time.
telling you from a guy's perspective, though.
Right,
Like
no,
when you
but I'm
see
saying
a
from a
girl wearing
girl's
that and she has
perspective.
fake titties like that, and that's gonna be every in every
Okay,
photo.
but obviously that was not my intention, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like,
not your
but the guy
intention.
doesn't know that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what he's saying.
right. But like in my defense, like I had no idea like that's what a guy would be thinking. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's just like for me, this is what I show the public. So I'm going to show these curated photos in my dating app too because they make me look the best.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you right now, as like a big brother, anytime a guy looks at your photo or looks at you, they're thinking about sex.
No, yeah.
So-
now I know that. But
Yeah.
now it's like me. I have like one in my gym clothes. It's like a selfie, and then like one of me eating, and like what are the other ones?
I just remember the one that I
But
took
they're
of you
much
at,
more,
at
like,
Korean
wholesome.
barbecue. Yeah, you have like, and you weren't actually showing your titties. You look like, like kind of like, oh, like, a little bit more like that. I was like, oh, yeah,
Oh,
what's
man.
up?
I didn't do this. Okay.
I know, but it was more like that vibe. You know what I mean? Where the other one's just like, you're just like,
Oh wow.
you know.
Now I know why
like-
you guys
So-
are not gonna date ever.
Anyway. So yeah, but now I get like feedback where like guys are like, "Oh, your profile looks very wholesome,"
Cool.
and I'm like,
That's awesome.
Cool. So then I've adapted it, refreshing it with pictures that are similar, to like what I actually do in my life.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So I like to work out. I like to
Yeah.
eat. I do have like one red carpet photo because like I want them to show like I can't hide all of my content creation life. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
that's you.
I take off my Instagram to reserve judgment.
Yeah.
But I do put like one photo that looks a little bit more polished. So yeah, I have definitely more variety. One with my pets, so they know I'm like an animal lover, stuff like that. So
But see, I feel like guys, like when they look at girls, like their profiles, it's way less like analytical. They're just like more like smash or pass, right? Like when they're kind of just casually. But then like based off the smash genre, they're putting you in a box, right? They're like, would I smash, hit it and quit it, or hit it and commit it? You know what I mean? Like there's like that box that they put you in
Okay.
already.
Is she like 1 month or is she 1 year?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas like for guys, like when I'm making my profile, like I know girls are going to be analyzing everything, you know, in terms of height, career, you know, even just the quality of photos, like, or like how many of the photos are actually selfies. Like I know girls are looking into all that because like you said, like you're basically swiping no for most of them. And like the ones that you do swipe, you're like, oh, maybe I would actually go on a date with this guy. Right. And it's like for a guy, like you have to curate your profile much more like diligently, I feel like, to actually get matches.
I mean, that's not true. Like, you had to curate my entire dating app, and like, you deleted all my photos, and were like, let me replace them
But
with all of these.
you had a bunch of matches, but you just didn't have the hidden committed matches. You had a bunch of hidden quitted type
I
of
had like a
matches.
wide cast net.
Yeah, but you still had matches in general. Whereas for guys, you're not even going to get matches unless you have a super curated, right? And then within those, maybe there's like a 5% of those girls are like, oh, I just want to smash this guy. And the other ones are like, oh, maybe
So I think
want to
like for
commit.
guys, a curated one gets you more matches, and for women, a curated one actually gets you less matches but higher quality men.
It gets
That's
you more
true.
of the
Yes,
hidden
that's very
committed
true.
type of matches. And a lot of girls don't know the difference. That's
Right.
the problem. That's the problem. They just think, oh, I'm hot. I get a bunch of matches, but they don't realize they're getting a bunch of just guys that just want to hook up with
Yeah,
them.
that
And-
was one big thing that he did teach me about, like looking better on my dating app to be taken more seriously.
Oh, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
So that did
Yeah.
help a lot.
All right. I hope you guys learned a lot in this, and that if you guys are on dating apps, that you'll adapt to what Vince and Kasey are doing, because it's starting to work out pretty well for them. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode of Love and Rice. We'll see you guys next time. Make sure to follow us on all podcast platforms, and also follow Kasey and Vince, Vince Shu, not Ma.
There you
And
go.
we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Peace.